Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, which means it is time for our Listening with Your Eyes LinkedIn Live. Good morning. I am Allison Henderson, and I am coming to you from Moving Image Consulting. I will preface this by kind of giving you a little warning. This might be a little bit wandery today because I was inspired last night with this topic and I'm not sure it's 100% fully formed. So maybe it'll be more than 1 week, or write to me and tell me what more you want to know about it, and we can do more at another time. Well, welcome to fall/winter for some of you. I do love this time of year. It was the first day that there was frost on my son's car this morning when I had to move it. He's away at college, but he's a freshman, so he can't have his car, which means every day I have to move it from one side of the driveway to the other for me to get my car out of the garage. And so I had to do the old roll the windows down and, peer around the side this morning to move it. And I'm sure there are many of you in that same situation this morning. But so welcome to fall. We are gearing up for Thanksgiving. And I think this topic actually plays into the Thanksgiving holiday and family gatherings, because today we are talking about the power of your words, the language piece. When it comes to body language, there we know as body language experts that you do not communicate by signals and body alone. And there is that language piece. If you think that hiring me means I'm only going to be dealing with your body and we're never going to talk about the words that come out of your mouth, that is absolutely not true, because the two really go hand in hand. And today I'm going to prove to you the power of those words. And what really took me down this road is I'm preparing with Lynn Miller. You saw her on, I believe last week was just when I interviewed her. We are doing an event tomorrow at 12:30. It's not too late to get your tickets to our course on improving your online videos. So I'm going to put rather than putting the link, because you really can't kind of get the link off of these and just pop it in. If you go to Eventbrite and you look up how to easily improve your online course videos, that's the class. And it is tomorrow, the 17th of November at 12:30 Central Time. It's just for an hour, but we're really going to get into making your videos more compelling and more engaging so that people who are taking your online courses get to the end. They take the action that you want them to take, or they join the next course, or they go into your next program, because really your online course should be a funnel to working with you. And these videos are the first chance that people get to really know you. And honestly, sometimes our videos aren't showing ourselves off is the best that we could. So if you want to join us tomorrow, tickets are still available and they're super reasonable. It's just to cover our costs to have this. Kim is watching today. Hi, Kim. Oh my gosh, Kim Kleeman is fantastic. She runs a group called the Inner Circle, of which I am a part of, which you should check out. It is a phenomenal vetted networking group where we really do support one another. And she's also a great entrepreneur coach. And I have worked with her and will continue to do so. So good morning, Kim. I'm glad that you're here and listening. So to the topic at hand, the language piece with that body. Here's where I want you to get more specific about the language that you use, because the more specific and connected to emotion and connected to feeling that you can get with your words, your body will go along with it. So here is a prime example. One of the things that Lynn and I have been talking about with these courses is that many people think about the video or their course, and they're like, the purpose of this video is, or they think about this course as that goal and purpose of the course. They're not necessarily thinking about the experience that they want to create for the individual. They're not necessarily thinking about the feeling that they want their viewer to come away with. And it's a simple shift that can help you do this. So while you're thinking about the feeling that you want your viewers to have with this, you think about the intention. I know you've heard of that word a lot, probably lately. The intention for the meeting, the intention for this video, if you're creating a video, the intention for the class that you're running or the training that you're running. What is that? Because that intention, when you set that intention in your mind, it's going to raise your vibrations, one, if we're getting into metaphysics and things. But it's also going to connect you closer to the emotional side of things. How do you want your people to feel? So for instance, if I want a meeting with a client and I want them to come out of that meeting with more confidence, and I want them to feel more connected to their own personal communication style, I can start my session with them instead of saying, oh, well, today we're going to do this, that, and the other, which is pretty cut and dried and boring, and it doesn't bring my body into it. But if I say to that client, today I am really excited because it's all going to be about your confidence, and we are going to raise the level of your confidence so that the next time you go into your group meeting next week, you feel like you can take command of that Zoom meeting, or you can take command of the room. Do you notice how my body language changed from today we're going to do this, this, and this? Do you see how flat that is versus today we are going to talk about your confidence? We're going to raise your level of self-assurance. When I add to those, the feeling that I want them to come out of this meeting is confident, or the feeling that I want them to come out of this meeting is with joy. Maybe we work on that for a day. You believe me, sometimes with my clients, we simply work on joy. We say, how are we going to find joy in this meeting that you have coming up so that your body language follows suit? So you see how it is a body-mind game, everybody. It really is. The body affects the mind affects the body, and the intention that you put behind it and the words that you choose to use are so important. And this is why when we work on your presentations or your speeches, when you're going out and doing keynotes and things, why the languaging is so important. And I'm not saying it's all about having things 100% fully memorized, but when, for instance, I work with TEDx speakers, we do look at the language that they have in their script. One, is it language that they would actually use, or is it written kind of scripted language? Is it how they write versus how they speak? But if it's how they speak, is it full of the kind of language that's going to bring their body to the experience? This is part of what presence is all about. And when you involve those intentional words, your body immediately has more presence. And where does some of that presence come from? You'll be more grounded. You'll be more stable, literally stable on your feet, because you are connected. You are connecting the body and the mind together, and that rides up and down your spine, believe it or not, and will give you more stability when you're on stage, or will give you more stability when you're standing in front of your teams. So the other word that I want to tackle today, besides the intention versus purpose, I want to tackle the word goal. And you may have heard me talk about this before. I'm not sure. It may be in my LinkedIn Live with Kristen Lamar, which was one of the first ones that I did a ways back. But if you search in my lives on YouTube for that, check out the Kristen Lamar LinkedIn Live, because I bet we might have talked about this word. because she's also one of my coaches and fantastic. You should definitely look her up as well. But she's also very intentional about words. And one of the words that she doesn't like is goal. And it's kind of like, well, what's wrong with the word goal? Well, goal is very similar to purpose. Goal is finite. Goal is, there is a point then where you have achieved it, and then you have to set another goal and another goal. And for some people, they don't necessarily get messed up with this word. But I would say when it comes to your body language, it's another one of those words that's kind of flat, because the goal then becomes this thing. And if in your mind you think it's not attainable, if the goal is somehow beyond you, this is where, we get into resolutions coming up here in January. And when you say my resolution is to lose 20 pounds, if your brain is like, honey, you're never going to do it. You say this every year and you're not going to do it. Well, that's going to get in the way of you actually achieving that, because your brain doesn't believe it. You can, however, help your brain to believe it by changing the word to action. What is the action I'm taking today? Instead of what is the goal? Is the goal to make 10 calls? Is the goal to send out your newsletter? Is the goal to check in on this team and that project and contact your PR representative because you know what, you haven't been in the news very often, and it's time to get things back in. You're looking ahead at the calendar and you're like, you know what, we always do something in the spring. It's time to be contacting our reporters now, or the newspapers and the magazines now, because they're already doing things for spring. If those are the goals for the day, it kind of is this ho-hum, and then it just becomes a ticking off your list. But if you say, what are the actions I'm going to take today? I'm going to connect with my team. I'm going to reach out to my PR representative. I'm going to stretch into an area that I am a little bit uncomfortable with. And once again, did you notice when I say, okay, the goal is this, the goal is that, I sort of am flat. When I say I'm going to reach out, I literally physically reach out. My body is involved. And this is what I want you to work on, leaders, particularly when you're giving your year-end reviews that are coming up. If you're on a calendar year and you're starting to think about those year-end reviews, I hear so often from people about stretch goals. Oh, my stretch goals are these. What if they were stretch actions? Instead of your stretch goal being find 3 more projects to contribute to, or complete 3 more projects by the end of the next quarter. Who's really excited about that? That's, 3 more things. I already have so much on my plate. How am I ever going to get this done? And it just raises your anxiety. But if your manager says, we're going to take stretch actions for this next quarter and see how that goes, I want you to seek out. Notice the difference between, I want you to work on 3 projects. I want you to seek out 3 projects that are going on in the company that you think you can really add input to, and avail your services and help them get those things done. That might make you a little bit more excited to go out and do something, because you're seeking it. And you as manager can't help but have body language that helps them with that. If they're seeking something out, what are some of the other words that I wrote out? Seek out 3 more projects which excite you, and to which you can provide value, right? Things, if your stretch goal can be something that excites you, it's going to make it a little bit easier to do some of the other things that don't excite you, right? That's a game that we all play with ourselves. I'm going to do the 5 things that I don't like to do first thing in the morning so that I can reward myself with the other things. Okay, I'm taking a bunch of supplements right now. So I take like 5 pills in the morning. And one of them is calcium because I am a woman of a certain age. And it's a big pill. And So, and it's not coated and it's kind of chalky and it's hard to swallow. So, what do I do? Even for me, I kind of light up the pills like largest to smallest. So, I reward myself with the teeny tiny vitamin D at the end of all 5 pills so that I can get them down. We do that in our lives, right? We set up to do the things that we don't like first in the morning so that we could reward ourselves with something else that we like to do later in the day. Or if we get these things done, then we treat ourselves and we get to go out to lunch or whatever it is. Those same things can work with your teams. It doesn't have to be ho hum. It doesn't have to be a finite goal that they're going to feel really terrible about if they don't reach it. It doesn't have to be a it doesn't have to be a meeting that has some kind of purpose that we have to get through this agenda. If you change it to the intention of this meeting is for us to work as collaboratively as we can in the time allotted to work through all of these agenda items, it has the same outcome, but the words are different. Our body brain connection is different, and you, as a leader, your body will be different. You could use this with your family at the holidays too. Remember earlier I said you could use this could be something to take into Thanksgiving. What is your intention? Like, what connect to the feelings that you have for the people that have gathered, for the joy of being together again this year, for the little squabbles over who's bringing what, or yeah, you can switch it around by being, wow, last year we didn't even have this debate over whether to have oyster stuffing or traditional sage or whatever it is in your family. You could have joy with it, right? You could go in with the feeling of, I am bringing joy to this, and you will change the dynamic because your body language will be giving off the right energy, and your body language will be more engaged, will be ingratiating, will be more loving, because as soon as you do this, look at me, I'm moving this upper part of my body, because that's what becomes engaged when you are getting towards heart center. When you're connecting to feelings, this part of the body moves. And that's what we see through Zoom. That's what we see across the dinner table. It is what we notice first about somebody because it's closest to their face, right? If your toes are doing a great body language dance, nobody is necessarily going to see them under the table, or as you're standing there, they're just going to think you're fidgeting because it's so far away from your face. We need to be concentrating more on this part of the body. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox. It's 5 minutes after I usually end, but I did start a couple minutes late. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I do plan on coming on next Tuesday for a brief something, a little tidbit, whatever strikes me. But don't forget to get the course for tomorrow. If you are planning to do videos, if you do videos, even if they're not for courses, this really is the same. It will help you even if you do things like LinkedIn Lives or if you have content on your website, because the same types of videos that go into courses, right? Your introductory video, your videos that talk about your company, the video that might explain something. If you put videos into your blog posts and things like that, it is really the same content and it will help you regardless. And if you're planning on doing a course in 2022, there's a fantastic checklist that Lynn has put together that is the questions that you need to ask yourself to be ready. Here's the thing, to be ready to create that course. Before you create the course and then are unhappy because it's not selling, this is the class that you need to be in. And again, that's tomorrow, 12:30 Central Time, 12:30 to 1:30, so that we can get all the time zones we're hoping. So go to Eventbrite, how do we easily improve your online course videos, and get signed up. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week. Oh, and don't forget about the True to You, which is on my website. If this is kind of your jam, all these things that I've been talking about every week, that's where we're going in our True to You program in January, is when a small group will start to go through that. And that is figuring out your own personal communication style. What is true to you? What is the language that's true to you? What is the body signals that are true to you? And then how do you put that out into the world? And how do you read the signals that are coming back at you? It's both sides of the coin. I'm super excited about this program. Maybe that's what we should talk about next week. Well, have a fantastic day, everybody, and we will see you soon.